there's the face of the dearly departed. You may be familiar with Nipsey Hussle, you may not be. Doesn't matter either way. Nipsey Hussle was murdered on April Fool's Day. So obviously people lost their fucking shit. Not just because he was murdered, but because it was on April Fool's Day. You know, that's kind of leads into the thing I'm going to talk about. But I will briefly mention. Interesting enough, when I first came to Thailand, it was in April, 5 years ago, and I had the Crenshaw mixtape by Nipsey Hussle, and I was banging that out, and I listened to it still, and also Slawson. Was it Slawson? What's the Slawson? Is it called Slawson Boy? What's the other one? It's the other good one. Those are two good ones. Like, Victual Out album was good, but like, we waited for so long for it, I was a bit disappointed. It was just, you know, how these days, like, mixtapes seem to be better than albums sometimes. But I liked I've considered someone who a good beat selection, really had set a vibe. It was good vibes. I like the vibe of the music. I was like, yeah, I like this. Yeah. I listened to it a lot when I first came to Thailand. That's not just saying it. So it was strange timing for me because of that. That has gone. For some reason it goes really flat and warm when you're in a hot country, right? So now, just to cover, like, there's a lot of rappers have been murdered. Well, have died. The 3 murders and one just, you know, tragic death. In about the space of a year, we talk about XXXTentacion, which was an absolute travesty. I did really rate that kid. Then you got Mac Miller and Young Greatness. And the weird thing about Young Greatness is, you know, Young Greatness did Moolah, if you don't know. Like, I was saying in front of my moolah, and then I'm gonna get the Jula, and saying whipping it whip. I fucking love that tune. Young Greatness was murdered. I didn't even see. I always follow this kind of news and shit. I don't know what I was doing. Probably. I think I was out in Thailand when he died. Maybe I was just busy enjoying life. But Young Greatness was killed, and I couldn't believe that. But I didn't find out about it straight away. It was a while out. I was like, what? Young Greatness is dead? What the fuck? And now Nipsey Hussle's dead. You know, I'm not going to do a whole eulogy to another shot rapper. But it is tragic how so many rappers get murdered like this. You know, it's a symptom. It's a symptom. People go, "Oh, it's the symptom of poverty, man. It's a symptom of poverty." It's the symptom of simplicity. That's what I call it. I just made that symptom of simplicity. People just fucking hateful. You see, there's the underbelly of like just hatred, with all this and jealousy. People just don't want to see people doing good. Like, they don't get inspired by it. Even if you hate someone's success, you should use that as inspiration to be successful yourself. That's what I do. I look at Ed Sheeran, I think, I can't stand that ginger prick, but I'm not going to go shoot him. I'm going to just aspire to be better and to have a voice, so when I do finally meet him, I'll tell him that he's whack. And we both did the same course at ACM Guildford, but he quit after a couple of months, a few years before I went there. So I didn't quit. Got my certificate, Ed. Yeah, didn't see me quitting, did you, bruv? Now look at me. Now you're getting my dick sucked in the sun. What are you doing? Nothing. Making whiny songs for fake woke people. That's it. I can't stand that prick. So this is why I said this isn't a eulogy to Nipsey Hussle, because just me, I'm talking absolute smack. But yeah, it's tragic. Now, the main point is that the conspiracy machine has gone out of control. Now people are going, oh, well, the internet conspiracy is like, no. This is like back to the Tupac days. Tupac doesn't predate the internet as a concept, but it predates the age of the internet that we're living in now, and how big it is. When Tupac died, we talk about, to find it, you wouldn't have gone on the internet to find out about Tupac's death, because it would have taken about 6 hours to get the web page to come up that says he's dead. You would have heard about it on radio or in print or on that television box, or the idiot eye, as I like to call it. So, and we all know about the Tupac conspiracies, and if you don't, well, lucky bloody you. And it's already started, the conspiracy machine over Nipsey Hussle. In fact, it started seconds after he was dead. Like I said, he may have still actually been physically alive when the conspiracy machine started. And it's a fucking nonsense. Look, this is the point, right? They've already cited who they think did it, and there's talk about it being someone who was a snitch, and he called him a snitch, like Nipsey called him a snitch, and then the guy killed him, and the guy's apparently being recruited to the Bloods, and Nipsey's a Crip, and blah 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 blah. You don't need me to go into the whole thing. You can find out yourself. But the point is, it's kind of like, at this point, as far as we know, it's kind of known who's done it, which is the same with Tupac. Tupac, if you don't know the story, that's been told 1,000 million times. Tupac had a beef. There was Death Row had a beef because there was a bounty on Death Row chains, and Orlando Anderson, a known Crip, who was also actually friends with BG Knockout, who was signed to Ruthless Records, and was who rose to fame being on the Real Motherfucking G's diss record against Dr. Dre and Suge Knight. It's an interesting little fact for you. Anyway, Orlando Anderson's got the Death Row chain on, and Tupac and his entourage and Suge Knight, blood affiliates, kicked the fuck out of him. And for so many years, apparently no one could solve the murders of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, but let's just focus on Tupac. So no one could solve Tupac's murder. It was an absolute mystery. We just don't know how. So let me get this straight. I mean, there's Suge Knight and all his blood affiliation. There's high-level Bloods and police people working in Death Row, and then there's this Crip who's stolen a chain, and they kicked the fuck out of this Crip in Vegas. And it's all on CCTV, everyone knows it. And then Tupac gets shot, and they shoot at Suge Knight at the same time. We have no idea. It's a massive conspiracy. It was Suge Knight that orchestrated the whole thing because he wanted to leave Death Row. Oh no, it was Reggie Jr., the head of security. He wanted Suge Knight out of the way, but Tupac got shot instead. Oh, there's that conspiracy. Well, there's all sorts of conspiracies. It was the FBI, because they hate Black Panthers. Oh, there's also conspiracy theories. Oh, yeah. But no. Oh, but turns out, pretty much in the end, it was like, it was Orlando Anderson and his uncle and 2 other associates. Oh, really? It took 20 years to work that one out. With the guy in the CCTV footage, who's a known Crip, getting clobbered by known Bloods and Blood associates, getting stomped for stealing a Death Row chain. But you're saying he's the one that killed Tupac? For real? I didn't see that one coming. That's a plot twist. That's a plot twist we didn't know that was coming. So yeah, that was the bullshit we had to endure for years and years. And it was like every week there was a new Who Killed Tupac documentary. I mean, we're not just talking the Nick Broomfield one, which is kind of, you look at some of those Nick Broomfield documentaries now, and I like his style, but like you look at them going, Nick, what are you up to, mate? Nick.
Hi, can you talk to me about Biggie Smalls? Do you think it was space aliens that killed him?
Nick, bruv, Nick, what were you doing? So, you know, and then there's this one whole series of videos. I mean, the most recent one he had about Tupac was I can't remember the police officer's name, but he's the one who implicated Puff Daddy as being part of the murders as well. But Orlando Anderson's uncle implicated him. But Orlando Anderson's uncle says, yeah, they killed Tupac, and it's all on tape because it's a deposition. But they can't charge the guy because there's some legal, like, they wanted to get him on something else. I can't remember. All they wanted, the end game was because Biggie Smalls' mum was trying to sue the LAPD, so they had to basically shut the case up or something. I can't explain. It's been a while since I've seen it. But basically, Orlando Anderson and his uncle fucking killed Tupac, right? But then so that's in one documentary, right? With I think it's Greg Cadence, Greg St. Keding, something like that. So that's all on record. And then you got this other documentary filmmaker who's released, I think, about definitely 5, but I'm going to say 50 Who Shot Tupac documentaries. Just totally says, no, this is absolute bullshit, this is a fabrication, we know who did it. It's an apparent, I don't know, it's gone from Suge Knight to Reggie Jr. To fuck knows who, like the Abominable Snowman. I have no idea. Because obviously, when you're making that much money selling your fucking shitty Who Shot Tupac DVDs for the past 25 years, or however long it's been so long, I forgot. You know, it's like, well, of course you're going to want to kill that cash cow. You don't want that cash cow dying, do you? The old Who Shot Tupac cash cow. I mean, Jesus Christ. Even one of the guys that was in the Nick Broomfield documentary, he was Biggie Smalls' old bodyguard, he put a documentary out saying who shot Biggie and Tupac. Fucking Frank Alexander, that was his name, Big Frank. He was Tupac's security guard who killed himself. Recently, he put out his own documentary. He was in other documentaries, and he put out his own documentary about who killed Tupac. Everybody had a documentary about who killed Tupac or who killed Biggie. Everybody did it. Hell, you might have one you haven't released yet, you know? I mean, go search it up online. You know, it's been the biggest cash cow going in hip-hop for decades, and hip-hop loves conspiracies. They love the Illuminati, you know, they love all this kind of stuff. You know, Jam Master Jay was probably killed by Adidas because, you know, the Germans are racists. Probably. You know, that's probably a theory that I made up that probably exists. You know, there's all kinds of theories. So we had all this. That's the thing. They couldn't solve this murder mainly because Orlando Anderson died not long after. So it's kind of like there's not a lot you can do when like the main suspect's dead, and he pretty much did it. As far as I'm aware, from everything I've seen, it was him, right? But you know, there's no closure there because he's dead. So it's like, oh no, they don't want to find out who killed Tupac. It's like, obviously gangland murders are fucking sketchy anyway. Codes of silence, blah, 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 blah. They're not the greatest cases to investigate. You know. But no. Tupac was murdered by the FBI or fucking CIA or God knows what, I don't know. And that's what we're left with. And that was what we were left with. When, like, the truth was there in plain sight, and yet we just had this smog of bullshit surrounding it. And everyone was, like, racking their heads going, but who killed Tupac? Why can't they solve it? And yet it was like, all right, it was, it was the guy that probably everyone should have thought it is. And now we've got with Nipsey Hussle, we've got a similar situation already happening. Because obviously we're in the high-speed fiber optic digital age. It's moving at a rapid pace. And now everyone thinks Nipsey Hussle got killed because he was working on a documentary about a guy called Dr. Sebi, or Sebi. Dr. Sebi or Sebi, I can't remember which one it is. A guy that apparently, a guy who claims he cured AIDS. And when he was taken to court for practicing as a doctor without a license, so he's not an actual doctor. He's about as much of a doctor as Dr. Dre. Managed to get witnesses into court to verify that he cured them of AIDS, and therefore they dropped the lawsuit. And then Nipsey thought this was very interesting and thought he'd make a documentary about it. And now people think, obviously, And Lisa Lopes was she was a client of his, but and she died. She died. So there's that. She died. Nipsey Hussle got killed. Outside his shop. Nipsey Hussle, a known Crip, a proud Crip, you could say. Yeah, but it's probably a big pharmaceutical company that does it because of all the billions and stuff. So that's the one they're going to go with, and that's who the police should be investigating. Big pharmaceutical companies. That's right. Instead of probably the guy that everyone says has done it. That's definitely the best route to take. It's like, this is, you see, there's real conspiracy out there, but this kind of thing just shits all over the real conspiracy and makes it look like Looneyville stuff. And this is why I have a big problem with conspiracy theories, even though I know there's some real shit going on that really needs to be addressed and exposed. But when everyone's just hungry for conspiracy all the time, when everyone just cannot believe that their life is so shit, there must be a reason behind it. Oh, I don't know. It's the Jewish puppeteers of the world. That's why my life is crap. Or maybe it's just because you're fucking lazy or something similar to that. And you're blaming Jews like Hitler did. And you shouldn't do it. You should sort your fucking life out. Have a word with yourself. Tell your mother to slap you for raising such a fool, and slap herself at the same time. So, anyway, you got that. So let's not douse this tragedy in conspiracy. That's what I'm saying. The guy's dead. Let the police arrest the motherfucker who did it, or let the justice of the streets do its thing. Whichever. I'm not advocating for that. I'm not advocating for it, but would anyone be upset? I would hope not. I would hope.